Hello and welcome to the A New Day show. I am your host, Dynamic Daphne. And for this episode, we are going to be speaking about how safe are herbs. And this, I am using the book that's called The Natural Medicine Chest by a local author here from Connecticut, Dr. Z. Has been my intention to get Dr. Z on the show, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to do it in the near future. So I just want to share this with you, that Dr. Z, Dr. Eugene E. Zimmerman, and he's local here from Woodbury here in Connecticut. So I'm going to be sharing Dr. Z's insight with you, and I go back to my friend Richard's glasses. In chapter 2, Dr. Z says, how safe are herbs? Naturally does not always mean safe. Although herbs are all natural parts of plants, be they leaves, flowers, stems, seeds, or roots, they are certainly not all safe. There are several reasons why an herb may be toxic. Many plants have poisonous effects on humans. Some can cause death if ingested, or a severe skin rash if touched. Other plants can be Many plants can be mild and edible at some points in their growth cycle, but become toxic at other stages. Allergies are common with certain plants. Modern research has uncovered the possibility of some plants' components being poisonous, even if the herbs that have been used historically for medicine. Current dilemmas include the concern of interactions between herbal and pharmaceutical drugs, and the abuse of herbs for recreational purposes. Poisonous plants. Some plants are highly poisonous. Socrates drank and preparation made from poisonous hemlock to end his life. Poison ivy can cause a severe contact of dermatitis on most people who touch it. Ingestion of a single castor bean may be fatal to a child. The shoot of a young poke root plant are safe to eat only if boiled 3 times. This does not keep poke shoots from being in the most commonly eaten wild plant in the United States. Poke salad festivals are still popular in the South. However, great care must be taken For as the plant ages and the stake of red pigment begins to appear along its stem and leaf vines, pork becomes toxic to eat. Allergies. Nearly every substance we come into contact with is a potential allergen for someone. Herbs are no exception. People have had allergic reactions to such seemingly innocuous plants as garlic and parsley. If you tend to be an allergic individual, start an herbal supplementation program slowly. Take a minimum dose the first few times and monitor your reaction. Do some research to find out which families of plants you are allergic to. Often, you will also be sensitive to a close relative of the plant. For example, those who suffer from a seasonal allergies to ragweed pollen may have a cross-sensitivity reaction to the herb chamomile, golden root, marigold, echinacea, and yarrow and alfalfa. I want to just interject here and remind you that's why it is so important not to be taking what's prescribed for somebody else or what they buy and are using. I know a lot of times we have ailments and complaints, and somebody say, oh, well, here is what I am taking. It is not safe to do that. Even when it might sound like the same diagnosis, we are unique people and our bodies and systems are different. So it is not safe to do that. So I am so happy that Dr. Z took the time to document this so that I can have the opportunity of sharing with you. So let me continue from the book. Toxic components. A few plants that have been used for centuries for medical applications have been found after scientific inquiry to contain potential hazardous compounds. Saccharose, used as a relaxing tea and a spring tonic, contains safrole, a chemical that has demonstrated liver toxicity in rats. 1 cup of sassafras tea may contain 200 milligrams of safrole. Over 50 milligrams of safrole is believed to be dangerous to humans. If consumed regularly over an extended period of time. Occasionally, used as a spring tonic may not be a problem. And this actually reflects the true enterobotanical traditional use of sassafras by the people of Albacolca. Although comfrey has been touted as a cure-all in folk medicine, it contains pyrrolizidine, pyrrolizidine. I'm sure I mispronounced that. Alkaloids, which research has shown to be carcinogenic in rats. However, herbalists continue to use comfrey, intentional and exceptional, as an external police with no report ill effects. If taken as a tea or if the leaves are ingested, foxglove can cause severe vomiting and may act as a powerful diuretic. It also shows the heartbeat. It also slows the heartbeat and may be fatal in high doses. The cardiac medication Ditalis has originally extracted from a foxglove plant. I remember as a child growing up in Jamaica, comfrey tea was a popular thing, and you always hear the adults saying, oh, well, that's too much comfrey. You just use X amount of comfrey. I really don't remember what they used to use it for, but I know it's a popular thing in Jamaica, you know, just like Cersei and fever grass, which we call fever grass, which is lemongrass. Comfrey was one of those herbs that is commonly used there. Okay, so let us continue. Herbs - pharmaceutical drug interactions. The interactions between herbs and prescriptive over-the-counter drugs is actually a serious and growing concern. In the past, pharmaceutical drugs were not available in the extent that they are today. Later, many of those people who choose to use herbal therapies proactively decided not to use pharmaceutical drugs. As we move into an era when more and more mainstream people and physicians begin to integrate herbs into their treatment protocols, the possibilities of negative effects due to drug/herb interactions become more of an issue. One example is the increased use of allopathetic physicians of a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, ibuprofen, aspirin, and the likes, as an anticholinergics to reduce the risk of blood clots. Unknown to many physicians, a growing number of patients are concurrently being treated or are self-medicating with herbs such as garlic and ginger, as well as coumarin containing herbs such as woodruff and lavender. The synthetics effect between the drug and the herb could potentially result in excess bleeding from an injury, laceration, dental work, or surgery. Naturopathic physicians and professional herbalists are trained to be aware of these kinds of interaction. And this is why it is so important to research things and their effects before we use them, because as Dr. Z says here, naturally doesn't mean safe. Everything needs to be done in proportion. And this is why I think it's important for us to, find the books and read them, do the research, and call up and ask the questions. All right? Indiscriminate use. With the growing interest in herbs, over-the-counter consumptions is becoming more widespread. This is the first time in history that herbs are being used by people with no connection to our knowledge our knowledge about the actual plants. Throughout time, herbs were used as medicine after a visit to a local herbalist, who would consult with the person and usually put together an individualized prescription of several herbs that the herbalist had gathered him or herself. This prescription was accommodated by suggestions for healthy lifestyle changes in areas such as food consumption, exercise, stress reduction, and sleep patterns. Today, naturopathic physicians, doctors, or Oriental medicine professionals, certified herbalists, and holistic practitioners dispense these same suggestions along with herbs. Consumers not availing themselves to a proper consumption with a practitioner's knowledgeable, botanical, and mainstream medicine may be putting themselves at risk. Using one herb to replace one drug, such as substituting St. John's wort for Prozac to treat depression without a change in lifestyle pattern to address the initial cause of health imbalance, may lead to an increase in the incidence of toxicity due to herb-drug interaction. Many botanicals work with certain drugs, but are more subtle or have a slower action. It may be dangerous to abruptly discontinue the use of a drug in favor of an herb, or to combine the two without first checking with a practitioner who is trained to understand the toxicology and the biochemistry of botanicals and the pharmaceuticology of drugs, such as licensed naturopathic physicians. Abuse. Current trends have spotlighted a disturbing new use of herbs. The search for the legal high. Promoters give an herbal combination a seductive name such as ecstasy or surge to tempt consumers who are often underage. Unfortunately, several deaths have occurred due to the consumption of these products. Further investigations reveal that the vitamins took much more of a product, the victims, wake up, took much more of the products than was suggested on the label. In conjunction with other substances, several of the natural high products contained systematically derived potent amphetamines like substance, along with herbs like mahang. Yet the authorities seem to single out the herb ephedra as the culprit and banned its sale in several states, including New York and Florida. The entire mindset of more is better can be dangerous when ingesting any medicine, natural or pharmaceutical. However, herbs are usually safer when used intelligently. After some self-study, and especially along with guidance by a trained professional herbalist, most herbal medicines are actually much safer than pharmaceutical drugs. In an article in the Journal of American Medical Association, Jason Lazaro, April 15, 1998, titled Incidents of Adverse Drug Reactions in Hospitalized Patients. A meta-analysis of a prospective studies, the author came to the astonishing conclusion that the adverse drug reactions are the fourth leading cause of death in hospitalized patients in the United States. Toxicity reports that herbs are, for the most part, few and far between. A recent one out of Canada revealed that there was only one reported death since 1999 related to herbs. And that article was done by Sherry Tokus, American Journal of National Medicine, October 1998, page 23. Nature often buffers any potential toxicity in the specific herb with complementary chemicals that offset the toxic reaction. If one overdose of the leaves of a foxglove before the cardioactive glycosides could kill, the high levels of emmetine could almost certainly cause severe vomiting. If an individual accidentally poison him or herself with the pharmaceutical drug digoxin, a single cardiac glycoside, the threat of death could be much greater. So I want to show you the book again and encourage you, pick it up. It's called The Natural Medicine Chest. And it's a lot of great insight in there that will help us to make educated choices and decisions in our lives as we go about our daily business. Because as I tell you, people are living much longer now. And the reason that we are living much longer is because we are making educated choices and decisions when it pertains to our health. Remember, the best wealth we have is the wealth of good health. All right? Money is good, but the health, when we have good health, we are going to be able to have the know-it-all and the means to create the financial wealth. So, take the responsibility of your health in your own hands and also the health of your families. Have family meetings, have family conferences and talk about what's right for your health. Because especially when you have a family that you're responsible for, people need to know why it is important for them to do certain things. So spend the time, talk with them, and find out, how they feel about the implementation of certain things in the diets and certain practices. As a family, you can go to walk together. If you can't afford a gym membership, go out together and walk. Spend some quality time together and exercise together. Get the children in the kitchen to prepare the meals. Kids are always going to eat what they prepare. Get flower pots upon your decks or your windowsill and plant spices and herbs that you can use to cook fresh into your dishes. I hope that this segment has helped you in some way, and I encourage you to connect with me on Twitter. Call me on the telephone 203-794-6208, and I'm also on Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So you have all the ways to get in touch with me. I really enjoy your support.